Okay, so today I read a very interesting article on Twitter, and I thought Adi has not read it yet, and I thought that we would do a React video to this because it's one of those things that, as developers who value the way we write code, I think it will be quite interesting. So let me tell you this story. Some people who have Mazda cars noticed that they were listening to one radio station and it completely bricked their entertainment system.
So that's a break from us from the point of view of the circuits, or it's just a software thing.
So let me tell you what happened because this is really it's great. It's such a great story. As you say, as you can see, it's an Ars Technica story, and uh, so the problem began on January 30. Afflicted Mazdas from model years 2014 to 2017 when the cars were tuned to the local NPR station. At some point during the day's broadcast, a signal from that station caused the Mazda's infotainment systems to crash. The screens died and the radios were stuck on that frequency.
Okay, it's like from the aliens attacked the Mazda cars. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's. I imagine that's how you would feel if you are a normal driver and you know nothing about software, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From there, the infotainment systems became trapped in a rebooting loop, never successfully completing the task.
Okay.
When afflicted owners took their cars to be checked at local Mazda dealers, they were told that the connectivity master unit was dead and needed to be replaced. So just a $1,500
Wow,
thing.
that's a lot.
And not only that, but the problem is there aren't any because there are many supply chain problems right now.
Of course.
So, so we don't have this. Okay. Uh, anyway, Mazda is offering a warranty, so these will be replaced when they get the parts for free and so on. But okay, but the interesting thing for us is what caused this problem. So apparently there's something seems to be called HD radio, and radios can also send images using the radio waves.
Okay.
I imagine these are images that you display on the infotainment system.
Okay.
Okay. And now here's the snag. Um, this particular radio sent image files that did not have extensions.
Uh-huh.
And the Mazda's infotainment system needs an extension and not a header to tell what the file is. And because it didn't know what the file was, the system got corrupted,
So somebody forgot to write a test.
basically.
But it's really weird how it got corrupted. I would expect a certain type of filtering for that. Otherwise you could send anything basically, right?
Yeah, it's, I mean, I understand how this can happen, obviously, because we've been working with programmers for a very long time. But at the same time, I don't understand how this could happen.
They were in a rush. They needed to deploy things fast. We need to have this on the market. How is that? How does this sound?
Yeah, and I mean, to me, it's not such a weird thing because I remember at one point I was working with a team of developers and we were looking at validating the inputs. It was a website, but so a web application. And one of the inputs was that you could upload an image, right? And I pointed to them that, look, you need to validate the image file, right?
Of course.
Of course. And they were like, but Why? What could happen?
Mm.
And I'm like, you know that that image file will probably go through a library that loads it somehow. That code can have bugs. Somebody can insert some code into that image file that gets executed and corrupts your system or gives access to people or I don't
Yeah.
know, changes something in the image so that it gets executed later on the client side or any number of things.
Yeah. So that's a kind of cross scripting attack that can happen always, right? Cross
Yeah,
scripting is always a problem. No matter what input it is, you need to check it.
you need to validate your inputs, people. And i- in this case, fine. So you don't validate that it's an image in the right form and so on, but at least don't accept it, right?
Yeah, well, that's the idea. Filter, filter, filter. And it's weird that they didn't look at the headers. They just looked at at the uh,
The
how was it?
extension.
At the extension, because you can put anything at the extension, but in fact it can be an executable that would ruin your system or will encrypt it or whatever. So that's I think even worse. The fact that they didn't look at the headers.
Yeah, so how about, you can probably have some equipment now to have a local radio station that's only available on a very limited area of the road, let's say,
A pirate radio.
a pirate radio. Shouldn't be too hard, right?
Yeah,
And let's say that then instead of injecting header image files without an extension, you inject the right extension, JPEG or whatever, but it's not a JPEG, it's an executable.
yes. And let's imagine that infotainment system maybe has access to your phone, and maybe your phone can make payments, and maybe it has a credit card on it, or such a thing. It starts being interesting.
Yeah. So look, people, I think what I would call it is uh, developers, it's time to do a better job. you know.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right. So we thought about doing this as our first reaction video. I understand that you cannot be a real YouTuber until you've done a reaction video. So this is it. If you'd like
Oh,
more
so we're
reaction
starting to
videos,
be a YouTuber. That's great.
yes,
I already feel like one.
uh, don't you?
Yeah.
So if you want more reaction videos, let us know and perhaps send us some ideas.